When we say major depressive disorder, that is also termed as clinical depression. You usually say, I'm depressed when you have a problem. But, well, that might be an expression, but it doesn't mean that it is clinical depression. Another one is to distinguish the manifestations of major depressive disorder, clinical depression. And of course, the third one is to appraise awareness about clinical depression and suicidality. So as I've said a while back, you usually ask you others, how are you? Kumusta ka na? But we tend to forget our own self, our condition. Try to ask that question and give a specific answer. So what is a mood disorder? It refers to disturbances in feelings, thinking, as well as our behavior or our actions. Let's try to take a look at a simple psychopathology of mental illness. It all starts from stressors, and it will affect another part of the brain that will lead to another mental illness. And we have this. The stressor that we experience daily will trigger the emotional brain, and that is the amygdala. That is the emotional brain. That's the first thing that will be triggered. And thereafter, the amygdala, it will now trigger the HPA axis, or we call it as your hypothalamus. When we say hypothalamus, that is the hunger center. It is the sleep center. It is also the arousal center. So if you're sleepy, it is the hypothalamic function. If you want to eat too much, it is the hypothalamus as well. So if you have sexual problems, it is the hypothalamus. So you'd rather say, oh, something is wrong with my hypothalamus. Another that will be triggered by the hypothalamus is the master gland of all the glands producing hormones. We call it as the pituitary gland. It is responsible for the thyroid gland. It signals the adrenal gland as well as testicles and ovaries. That is why, again, it is related to sexual urges. There are different functions, but I'm trying to operationalize it, that of a person suffering from mood disorder. After the pituitary gland, we now have the adrenal cortex. And the adrenal cortex is responsible for the production of the cortisol, which is the stress hormone, as well as the epinephrine. But then, if you experience chronic, when we say chronic stress, that is more than 6 months of nightmares, more than 6 months of anxiety, fears, worries, doubts, that will now lead to a negative feedback. And once this negative feedback will go to the different parts of the brain, if it is the basal ganglia, you'll end up with schizophrenia. But if it is going back to that of the amygdala, a negative feedback to the amygdala, which I've said a while back as the emotional brain, what will happen? It will now lead to depression. Okay, so that is the activity in our brain that we cannot see. Let's go now to the next one. So we have depression. According to the World Health Organization, on January 30 of 2020, 264 million are affected, and it's the foremost cause of disability. Aside from that, it is the second cause of death among 19 to 29 years of age. So our dear teachers who are there, we must be of support to them. If their parents cannot give it through the modules, you can see if there are some problems, some indicators. Apart from that, we also have in 40 seconds, one person is committing suicide. So one person is committing suicide in 40 seconds. Imagine that. So we have 24 hours times 60 minutes per hour times 60 seconds per minute. 2,060 seconds, 8,000 plus, but then we divide it into 40 seconds. 2,160 seconds in one day. Meaning 2,160 are committing suicide around the world. Times 365 days per year. That will give us a product of 788 and 400 or 800,000 per year. Don't be afraid to know this figure. This will lead us to an awareness and how we can help them have a survival skill or life skills. I am not here to treat. I am here to advocate. It is not within my turf to treat. It is not within my turf to diagnose, but it is within my turf to advocate. So what are the different causes or etiologies of clinical depression? One is serotonin. Once the serotonin has decreased, you will end up to have major depressive disorder or clinical depression. But once it increases, the person will have manic, which is also a mood disorder. But we cannot go to manic as of the moment. We cannot go to bipolar 1, bipolar 2, cyclothymia, dysthymia, pervasive developmental disorders, and the like. We have to address the pressing problem of major depression and suicidality. Is it hereditary? I'm so sorry, yes. It is genetically transmitted and is 40%. And according to American Psychiatric Association and other universities who conducted research, it is found in the genetic code 3P25 to 26. And here you are. You added it with another problem. Or not you, other people, okay, cost you trauma, cost you, this pandemic cost us poverty, the blended learning. So what will happen to the person? So there are two causes here. Hereditary plus environmental, 40% comes from the hereditary part or genetic, okay, code, and environmental, there is the social aspect brought about, okay, by other people and the like, or circumstances. That is what we call as the diathesis theory. So let's go now to this. One is the use of modules, environmental factors. Failure to pass their modules. Unstable network, which happened a while back for us to learn a lesson, for us to feel how they feel if there are some technical glitches. Isolation as well. How about for teachers? When they sort and check modules as well as when they multitask, when they distribute, okay? And apart from that, for parents, this is already the time of module legend versus the mobile legend. It is important for them to manipulate their cell phones more than the module. Because but millennials will definitely not be on paper and pencil. They're more in the techie mode. What else? Okay, you see, the part of teachers, you have been doing that. We salute you for doing that. And here you are being blamed for the failure of their children. Nick Turse said, as he cited the World Institute of Development Economics, he said that 500 million people will undergo poverty around the world. And it takes 30 years to reverse it. Here in the Philippines, they said that less than 20%, so meaning we are 110 million right now. So if that is the population, we have to remember that there will be, and anticipate, basing it from that statistics, 22 million will undergo poverty. You're not alone. You have to think about that. You're not alone. Lucrative stores closed. Zara closed 1,200. Victoria's Secret closed 250. Levi's, a well-known clothing line, laid off 4,000 employees. And you still think right now that you're alone? I was not given a chance to work for 1 year. But the lesson I have learned, I was connected with my family. The lesson that I have learned, I tend to go to places in my own place here in Benguet, as well as Baguio City, talking about mental health, because that is my mission in life, perhaps. We also have another cause. So we discussed about introjected loss. We discussed diathesis, serotonin that decreases in our brain, which we cannot control. But don't you worry, hey, okay, depression can be treated, 80 to 90%, it can be treated. Another one is the introjected loss. So when we say introjected loss, why do we experience this? It is because we embrace the standards of others. If we get by the belief that you have the unlimited power, because they believe that you are very intelligent, they believe that you are a person with a title, they believe that you're wealthy, they believe that you're a demigod, and they believe you're in an ivory tower, then here comes failure or defeat. It will bring about self-accusations and dislike. So we also have this tendency, if you are being dictated by others, you might resort to quid pro quo, that is reciprocity. You barter yourself in order for you to be promoted. Never allow other people to derail your mental health. You tolerate being a mistress material and barter your independence. Then you became extremely guilty upon seeing his malnourished and sick child, as well as his emaciated wife. We also have the other one, the phenomena of comparison and competition. We are at race with other people. Don't try to compete with others, compete with yourself. Who you were yesterday, are you a better person today than that of yesterday? Don't set your standards, okay, through social aspects. Let's take a look at Injap. Injap is very young when he founded Mang Inasal. And when Tony Tan Kakyong found out that this will be in competition with his company, Jollibee, he bought 70% of the shares and left 30% of the shares to that of a 26 years old at the time when he started Mang Inasal. How much had he paid? 3 billion. But you are not Injap. Stop social comparison. It will just trigger self-criticism and self-doubt. Learn to wait for your time, for patience is a virtue. We also have this. Other people resort to most expensive bag. Imagine that bag alone. Why? Because you don't have the sense of contentment. You also expect, okay, that people should be this and should be that. All the more that you are just having a disease of the mind and defect of reason when you do that. Imagine how much is that Falcon cell phone? $45.8 million. How about that bag? That is, okay, $1.4 million. You bought it, believing that people will notice it once you use it. A high-end car, and then you use it, but nobody seems to pay attention. What happens? Frustration. The only person who notices the lucrative things that you have is the thief, the snatcher, or even the robber. You're just attracting criminals, putting your life at risk. We also have learned helplessness. When we say learned helplessness, that is when you're a victim of battering episodes. Learned helplessness. See? Been there. I was a battered wife and experienced sense of powerlessness. When I was working on my mini thesis entitled Butterfly in Her Own Cocoon, I got empowered. I experienced self-defeating behaviors. My self-esteem was at the lowest. I was at the weakest point in my life. If not due to my best friend's rescue, I may not be able to continue in my mission and passion in life. I was restored. I restored all my emptiness and meaninglessness through prayers. I cried hundreds of pillows around the Philippines. The scars of my past helped me increase my threshold. Kudos to my friends, to my life coaches, to my family members, to those who laughed with me, and it turned out to be my therapy. They're children. They were hurt by their own parents. You know, what will happen? The parental behavior will now erode the child's safety, according to Karen Hornay. It will destroy their safety. And all the more that once they are being hurt, their pain threshold increases. That's why they don't cry anymore for the next vicious cycle of violence. Abandoned and abused, as well as neglected elderly, suffer as they reminisce your milestone when you were young, as they nurtured you. But when they're in touch with reality that you had abandoned them, their smile will vanish and build self-criticism and despair. They experience loss or absence of hopelessness. Here in the Philippines, we have what we call as golden acres in QC, that once you abandon your own mother, father, grandparents, and they will be housed in that facility, I'm so sorry, once they die, all their wealth will go to the government. And that's good, okay? For you to know what you had done. Another one is negativities. The negative view of yourself, the negative view of the future, and the negative view of the world. When you only see your flaws and inadequacies, do you believe that there is no hope for the future brought about by this pandemic? We are all undergoing the most difficult test in life, as well as test of character. Our characters are coming out right now. Help yourself to ace the life lessons. Another one is somatic occupations. Once you get depressed, you tend to concentrate on your flaws. Others tend to have distorted body image, resort to cheap petroleum jelly, injected to enhance one's beauty. So what happens when you allowed yourself as a guinea pig for 500 pesos? You now created a personal battle of self-dislike and self-punishment. So you start already to withdraw because you were once that before and thereafter you became such. Another one is this. When you're blessed with a cup size and still wanted cup D, when will you attain self-satisfaction? When will you have that? Until you have breast augmentation for several times and have complications? How about those people suffering from breast cancer? Let us be sensible to the needs of other people, not just our wants. It's a need to them, it's just a want for you. Another one is rumination. Persistent thoughts. You keep thinking about your child. You keep thinking, about your terminal or chronic diseases. You are preoccupied with the tyranny of the should, what ought to be, while compromising your immune system. We witnessed people investing time to have a willpower to survive. So why don't you invest time and energy with your, with your skin to be strong? Why don't you do that? If others can. Imagine the time element that you spend thinking about this rather than thinking about the solution. What happens? Okay, so we have a Filipino teacher in Thailand who committed suicide. And here are the excerpts in his suicide notes. COVID, no work, no pay, wala lahat, no job, hindi ko na kaya. Ba? Can you imagine that? Wala lahat, nothing at all. Hindi ko na kaya. I can't tolerate it anymore. I can't handle it anymore. These statements may just be a statement that you hear from other people, but once that person said it for several times, that means to say that they kept ruminating about killing themselves. Another one is children who belong to a dysfunctional family. When we say dysfunctional family, it doesn't mean that you have to part ways with your partner. When we say dysfunctional family, even if it is complete, the mother, father, and children are there, but there are some problems. Can you imagine that? These children kept on ruminating that it is my fault that my parents parted. It is my fault that my father became a drunkard. It is my fault that my mother had been hurting my father, and they ended their lives dreaming of a perfect family situation that never happened. Intrusive thoughts of someone whom you appreciate. You just appreciated him. He just saw you. Ma'am, sir, can I check your ID, please? And here you are believing that he loves you already and keeps on thinking about him. Bongga, di ba? Okay? So, you see, erotomanic delusion when you believe that he is in love with you. Okay? He's just asking for your ID and you say, oh, arrest me. I don't have an ID. Okay, di ba? Okay, so you have to think about this. Okay, don't believe that that someone is madly in love with you, but just checking your ID, identification. Can you imagine that? Okay, what I'm trying to say here is dating problems can lead to suicidal ideations, especially when you're a victim of deception. When they say, okay, that they're single. When they say that, okay, they're a one-woman man. When he promised the solar system to offer you and you believed, how come? Di ba? And he became your sperm donor and left you? What happens? Okay, so anyway, let's go now to, so there are different causes. As I've said, one cause is what we call as your introjected loss. The other one is serotonin. The other one is diathesis. The other one is your attribution, okay, attribution, learned helplessness. Okay, so we discussed all of those. We also have your rumination and negative thoughts. So let's go now to major depressive disorder. Can you please get a paper and pencil beside you and try to number it 1 to 9? Okay, let's have a quiz. Okay, a quiz in life. Okay, so as we go along, kindly check if you, okay, kindly say yes if it is yes, but if it is not, okay, then we'll see the interpretation later. Okay, so this is not diagnosing. This is what we call as personal inventory. Okay, so let's go to major depressive disorder. Had you been having maladaptive functioning for more than 2 weeks already? What is meant by maladaptive functioning? You're not the usual you. You withdraw from people. Aside from you withdraw from people, you have work inhibition. You cannot execute your activities of daily living. So you had been doing this before. This is your routine, and it was distracted for 2 weeks, more than 2 weeks already. And did you not take a bath for more than 2 weeks already or brush your teeth? Okay, that is 2 weeks is the duration now. So that is our basis, main basis. Okay, so let's go now to, okay, the ones that you will answer. Okay, according to the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual, 5th edition. Okay, we have here depressed mood. The first question is, do you experience sadness, or had you been experiencing sadness, hopelessness, and helplessness for 2 weeks? Okay, kindly answer that if it is yes or no. 2 weeks. Had you been sad, helpless, and hopeless for 2 weeks? Okay, 2 weeks is the duration. 2 weeks or more. Okay, so we have number 2. Do you have recurrent thoughts of death or suicidal ideation? Okay, Do you have recurrent thoughts of death or suicidal ideation, such as, okay, or say for instance, do you have any unusual obsession with death, giving away your prized possession? Okay, it has a sentimental value to you. They've been asking from you, but this time you gave it out. Check that if you have such. Or have you had a statement of, I would rather kill myself if I had a chance? I'd rather kill myself if I had a chance. Kindly check that. I repeat, the first one is, okay, they experience helplessness, hopelessness, and sadness for 2 weeks. The other one is, have you experienced recurrent thoughts of death or suicidal ideation, okay, for 2 weeks duration? Okay, so as I said, our duration is 2 weeks. The third question, do you have the inability to experience pleasure, okay? You're unable, okay, are you unable to experience pleasure? Say, for instance, that brings you happiness before or joy, but this time it doesn't? Not just sexual pleasure, okay? It can be spiritual pleasure and other types of pleasure, okay? I repeat, okay? Are you having feelings of, okay, inability, are you having feelings of inability to experience pleasure? Okay, so if you can't answer that, okay, let's try to take a look at these pictures first. The picture of pandemic, and let's see, then go back later. Okay, go back later if whatever will be your reaction. Pandemic and a mask can protect your self-esteem. It can protect your self-esteem. Believe me, it can protect your self-esteem. By how? This. Okay, try to gauge your reaction. Another one is this. Okay, another effect of pandemic. Diba? And this. Okay, so as you can see, okay, the seat of teeth that is not that of the woman is complemented by the man. Diba? Okay, so if you never smiled from that, okay, just a simple smile, okay, you might have one. Now better check number 3. Another one is they have feelings of worthlessness. Okay, number 4, I should say. Do you feel that you're not enough? Do you feel inadequacies and uselessness? Do you feel guilty? Guilty of whatever? You better check that. I repeat, the first one, depressed mood. The second one, recurrent thoughts of death or suicidal ideation. The third one is inability to experience pleasure. The other one is feelings of worthlessness. Okay? The other one is sleep disturbance. Had you been experiencing sleep disturbance like inability to sleep or you're sleeping too much, it is not your usual body clock. Our body clock should be 6 to 8 hours. Okay? So that is it. So if you have hypersomnia or insomnia or parasomnia, when we say parasomnia, what is meant by parasomnia? That is when you sleep talk or you sleep walk. Have you been having that for, 2 weeks? Or grinding your teeth while you're sleeping? Okay? So that is parasomnia. So I repeat, okay? Sleep disturbance, if you have that, check it. Do you have loss of appetite? Okay? Have you experienced loss of appetite? Or had you had, weight gain? Say, for instance, loss of appetite. Without any intermittent or ketogenic diet, you're gaining weight or losing weight of more than 2.25 kilograms and beyond. 2.25 kilograms and beyond, you better check that, okay? Appetite disturbance, okay? And aside from appetite disturbance, the other one is diminished ability to concentrate. Let's see. Do you have that? Okay. Do you lack focus? Do you lack concentration? Okay, so let's see if you lack focus or concentration. Everybody, without you jotting it down, kindly spell teach. Teach. In your mind, spell teach. And as honest as you can, kindly reverse. Reverse. You spell it in a reverse manner. Some among you have spelled it as, okay, CHEAT, from teach to cheat, okay? So be careful. I'll interpret that later. Okay. Another one. Okay, that I will ask you to spell. Okay, what is this? In English. In English, what is it? Okay, baka chesa, okay, chisa. Okay, in English, it is, okay, spell it. Okay, canistel. It is canistel. Okay, canistel. Okay, so you see the spelling, canistel. Okay, canistel. Okay, spell it backwards. Canistel. Spell it backwards. We'll interpret that later. Canistel. Next. Kindly, okay, what is that? What is that? It is a frog. So, what is the croaking sound of a frog? Okay, what is the croaking sound of frog? Majority here in the Philippines, we say kokak, 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 but no, it's ribbit. When you go to America, for those, okay, from America, you might say, kokak, kokak. The frog says, kokak, kokak. And the, okay, your daughter or son will say, what's kokak, kokak? Okay, it's ribbit. Aha, di ba? Okay, maybe it's green, that's why it's kokak, kokak. It's ribbit. Okay, what we have here in the Philippines is brown and black. I'm just kidding. Okay, so that is it. Ribbit. Come on, spell it backwards. Okay, so let's see that. Okay, assess yourselves as honest as you can. And what is this? What is this flower? Okay, bougainvillea. What is the spelling of bougainvillea? Diba? Okay, ma'am, flower na lang, F-L-O-W-E-R, okay. Diba? B-O-U-G-A-N-V-I-L-L-E-A, okay? But don't ever do that. Okay, what I am doing right now is to assess your mental status and concentration. For those who were able to spell it backwards, that of ribbit, that's of canistel, that of, okay, teach backwards properly, that means to say that your hippocampus is good, it's working, it's functional. And that means to say that you're not suffering from any, okay, disturbances in your mind, okay? So, and we also have, what if they will ask you, kindly spell the longest word? Oh, what's the longest word? Pneumono-ultramicroscopic silicovolcanoconiosis. So spell it backwards. Wow, you're such a genius. Perhaps your IQ is more than 130 and above. Or spell hippopotomonstrosis kepedaliophobia. All the more that the person will undergo depression. So we don't do that. Okay, so it's only up to 7-letter words. Up to 7-letter words, not more than that. Okay? So let's go to the other one. We have calculations. Come on, follow through. Oh, sorry. Follow through. 7 plus 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 7, 56 minus 7, 49, minus 7, 42, minus 7, minus 7, minus 7, minus 7, minus 7, minus 7, minus 7. For those who were able to follow through that the answer is negative 14, congratulations. Your memory is working well. Okay, so give me the value of pi. Give me the, okay, 7 value of pi. I don't like the 3 value of pi. That is 3.16. I want the 7 value of pi. Okay? So everybody, kindly read this, okay? Kindly read this. How I wish I could calculate pi. Repeat. How I wish I could calculate pi. Say it again. How I wish I could calculate pi. Sir Mark, can you please unmute and, okay, help me with this. How I wish I could calculate pi.
How I wish I could calculate pi.
Sir Mark, tell me how many letters are there in how?
3.
In I.
1.
In wish.
4.
In I.
1.
In could.
5.
In calculate.
9.
In pi.
2.
So the 7 value of pi is 3.14, 50, and 92. Okay,
Wow.
if you seem to forget, okay, ayan.
How I
Okay.
wish
I could calculate pi.
pi.
Oh, thank you, Sir Mark.
You,
okay, so yan. Okay, so let's go to the other one. We have, okay, Zhang Peng. Zweni, Gia, Gong, di ba? Okay, joke. Okay? Found out in their research in 2018 that, okay, postpartum, post-mortem, not postpartum, post-mortem examination revealed that the hippocampus, which is responsible for concentration, memory, and executive function, is decreased in size. Okay, they found out that it has decreased in size. That's why they cannot memorize. They cannot decide. They cannot come up with a good problem, a good solution to their problems. That is it. It's the hippocampus that is affected. Okay, so kung bumalik siya sa hippocampus, nag-negative feedback sa hippocampus, others will end up not just depressed, but they will end up at the age of 65, they will end up to have Alzheimer's, mga ulyanin, mga senile. There will be senility that will be experienced. And it's irreversible, it cannot be treated. Okay, so it is supported by research. Zhangpeng, Zweni, Jia, Gong, di ba? Okay, so yun. Let's go to the other one. Number 8, please. Kindly answer. Okay, we have psychomotor disturbance. Have you assumed a posture for a long time? Okay. Have you assumed a posture for a long time? Like, okay, you assumed that position for more than 4 hours, more than 2 hours. And your friends or, sibling says, oh, you were there since this morning. Okay, come on, let's go and eat. And you don't even want to eat. You better check that. Or, say for instance, do you have aside from assumed posture, another one is this. Why is it that we usually assume that posture every time we have a problem? Okay, every time we have a problem, we have the C position or the fetal position. We call it as the fetal position or C position. Why do we have that? Because when we were in the womb of our mother, nobody can hurt us, nobody can touch us. Okay, nobody can hurt and touch us because we are protected, we are buffered. There is no such thing as the best coping mechanism. We have our own coping skills, okay? The other one is number 9. When we say, okay, number 9, we're already in number 9. Okay, so I repeat, we have depressed mood, recurrent thoughts of death or suicidal ideation, inability to experience pleasure, feelings of worthlessness, sleep disturbance, appetite disturbance, diminished ability to concentrate, psychomotor disturbance, and fatigue or loss of energy. Do you experience fatigability or loss of energy? Okay, ayan. That without warning, you're sleeping anywhere. Once you go home, instead of spending quality time with your kids, here you are, okay, sleeping already. There. Hey, people, don't invest your time sleeping. Don't you worry, when you die, you will sleep for the rest of your lives. Okay? Remember that. So I repeat, kindly check. If you check number 1, okay, if you check number 1, depressed mood, or recurrent thoughts of death or suicidal ideation, okay, number 1 and number 2, okay, and then 3 from this, okay, ayan, kindly count. If you check number 1 and number 2 and 3, okay, from inability to experience pleasure until fatigue or loss of energy, would you mind to check that? Who among you were able to check number 1 and number 2? You said yes, yes. Okay, and then in 3 from those, you have sleep disturbance, appetite disturbance, diminished ability to concentrate, and you have 5. If you have 5, okay, yes to these questions, you better see your mental health specialist. It is an indicator. As I've said, we are not here to diagnose, we are here for self-inventory. Okay, better look for the emergency hotlines, or if not the emergency hotlines, you can come up with what is now a schedule with your psychiatrist. Psychiatrists are responsible for diagnosing. Psychologists are responsible for psychotherapy. Okay, so we still have to go first to the psychiatrist. Okay, so let's go to this, at least 5 of the following. If you have 5, as I said, you have that. But if you don't, if you did not check depressed mood as well as recurrent thoughts of death or suicidal ideation, and you have 5 from the rest, or 6 from the rest, or 7 from the rest, you have mild depression. Mild depression pa rin yun, no? Okay, so baka matagal na yan, baka 2 years na yan. Baka ang tawag po doon ay dysthymia. It's chronic mild depression for 2 years. Okay? And let's go to the other one. Who are those who committed suicide? Robin Williams, who made people, millions of people across the globe to laugh and smile. See? What am I trying to give you as a message? What I'm trying to give you as a message right now is even if you are on top, okay? Not just for people who belongs to, okay, what we believe as whatever is that socioeconomic status. We also have Kate Spade. She killed herself by hanging. Aside from Kate Spade, who else? We also have Hitler. Imagine that he had fantasies of unlimited power, brilliance, and success. He was so arrogant. He had grand self-importance. He takes advantage of others for own benefit. He has sense of entitlement. He believes that he's very special and envious perhaps of others, and others are envious of him because of his power. And yet, he committed suicide. He's the psychopathic God. The psychopathic God of the Nazi war. He took in cyanide after taking in a cyanide. I don't know if it was ingestion or whatever. Okay, and thereafter, sinigurado talaga niya, no? Okay, he ensured that he will die by using a gunshot. Okay, so let's go to the other one. Vincent van Gogh, gunshot on his stomach. Okay, he committed suicide. Who else? Okay, ayan po. So as you can see here, that's what they are doing already. Okay, with the drawings of Vincent van Gogh. Okay, so this time another activity, please. Would you mind to number your papers 1 to 8? Di ba? Maraming pa-quiz. Di ba? Okay, 1 to 8. Okay, good luck. Let's see. Number 1, guess the picture or jumbled word. Okay, 1 to 8. Number 1. These are natural antidepressants. Natural antidepressants. Number 2. Okay, number 2. Yan. We're exercising our hippocampus, at the same time knowing what are these antidepressants. Number 3. Number 4. Number 5. What's this? Guess the picture. In English. Number 5. Number 6. Number 6. Okay, I want the whole, okay, the English term for this group of, okay. Okay, so yan, number 6. Both the 2 terms, not just 1 term. Okay. Okay, number 7. Number 7. We have this, whatever is that. It's either or, whatever, whichever. Or both na lang, both na lang. Both. Flowers. Flower, singular, flowers, plural. 2 answers. Okay, number 8. Okay, number 8, bouquet. Okay, number 8. Not that, Okay, ayan. Number 8, let's see. Okay, so let's answer. The natural antidepressants are the following. Number 1 is the banana. Oh, ma'am, what is in the banana? You just imagine the monkey eating the banana. After eating the banana, they're so happy, right? Okay. It contains serotonin, but not one banana will be sufficient. Okay, it contains vitamin B6 or pyridoxine. The pyridoxine contains serotonin, and you need to eat five bananas in a day, because you need 1.3 milligrams. But the problem is the heart, because it's responsible for what we call as your muscles, the muscles of the heart and the different parts of the body. That's why when you eat too much of the banana, it might even cause to contractility of the heart. So that's the major problem. The other one is the probiotics. The probiotics are good antidepressants. The yogurt, the kimchi, the kimchi. We also have oysters, the bivalves, oysters, number 3, you better check that. Mackerel, as well as the tuna, are natural antidepressants, Turmeric for number 5. Number 6, the legumes or the lentils, legumes or lentils, And number 7, we have St. John's wort. If you want the scientific name, Hypericum perforatum, And we also have the lavender. And we also have number 8, or lavender. And I'm not saying that St. John's wort is the same with lavender. No, that the yellow picture a while back that I showed you is the best antidepressant. Lavender, we usually see lavender tea. The aroma of the lavender tea, will now secrete, it will stimulate the serotonin production. The serotonin is the happy neurotransmitter. And we also have number 8 is the sunlight. Why? The sunlight secretes something that triggers the retina, vitamin D to be exact. Vitamin D, which triggers the retina, and the retina now will definitely trigger or sends a signal to the amygdala in order for it to produce more of the serotonin. So that's why here in Benguet, as well as Baguio City, we were wondering why in October, November, December, January, week after week, we hear teenagers committing suicide. Someone even wrote on her suicide note, ER first before burial. So seasonal affective disorder, like in European countries where they seldom see the sun. In London, they seldom see the sun. They experience that. Seasonal affective disorder. But if there is sunlight, it will change your mood. So I did not just give you that for any other reason. This was a research by LaChance Ramsey in 2018, Antidepressant Foods, an evidence-based nutrient profiling system for depression. And it is found in the World Journal of Psychiatry. And they said that the best sources of natural antidepressants in the research is more on the bivalves, that's the oyster, as well as the mussels, mga tahong natin. And we also have the other one, green leafy vegetables. Baka mamaya uuwi ka, you might go home and cook mussels. I'm so happy, it is natural antidepressant. Diba? The other one is green leafy vegetables. Aside from green leafy vegetables, lettuce, and the other one is pepper. So that is in accordance to that of the research conducted. Bivalves, that's the highest in serotonin. So reflections and interventions. Number 1 is self-awareness. You must know who you are, what you want, and what you're capable of. You must know who you are, what you want, and what you're capable of. If you don't know that, where will it be your starting point? Usually say, who am I? Without your name, who are you? Without your title, who are you? Without your possession, who are you? So if we are trying to give up, Think about Lizzie Velasquez. Lizzie Velasquez was diagnosed with progeroid syndrome, wherein her cells are aging so fast. She became a victim of cyberbullying. At the age of 13, that was the first time she saw that she was, on viral. And you know what she said? She was crying, of course. She was young then. Do you know why teenagers are susceptible to killing themselves? Because the brain, there is a research, the soxai as well as the gyri, the fissures, the curves in the brain are not yet fully developed. That's why maturity of one person will be up to 25 years old. So that's one factor that they found out. And you know, while she was crying, reading those statements, they even said, why didn't your parents kill you when they saw you like that? It's too painful. Go for digital fasting if it's hurting you that much. It's a choice. Another one is, they even used her in the new teacher challenge. You know what she said? Is that what you're teaching your kids, to laugh at us with disability? Is that the new normal? Imagine that. She's blind on the right side. Okay? So the other one is, I'm using this not to further, promote cyberbullying. I'm using this because I know that they are helping us. It's in the public domain, so I chose to discuss it, present it to you. The other one is Talia Castellano. She was diagnosed with cancer at the age of 9. And thereafter, she became a makeup artist. She became a vlogger. At the age of 14, she died. At least she used her time, quality time while she is in this world. We also have Viktor Frankl. Viktor Frankl was one among the prisoners during the Nazi war. And he came up with logotherapy. And what is meant by logotherapy? Life's meaning. He came up with a book, Man's Search for Meaning. And he said, in order for you to experience life, you must experience deadness. He came up with that realization when all of his family members were killed. So come up with your own philosophy in life. Believe in yourself. Nick Vujicic. It's a lie to think you're not good enough. It's a lie to think you're not worth anything. Your anatomy and physiology are functioning well, and yet you're surrendering yourself. You're giving up yourself. Why don't you be just like them? Since you wanted to expect something from people, look for someone who can help you. Another one is this. We usually have that. Every time we lose, what do? We give up. Okay? You see that? That woman in blue, she celebrated. She celebrated her victory, but it was not yet done. And she lost the battle. Don't celebrate in a premature manner. It will just destroy you. It causes defeat, self-defeat, self-criticism, self-doubt, and everything. We also have win or lose. You know, winning or losing orientation, if we expect recognition, achievement from our family members, we should also teach them how to handle failure. If we know the meaning of winning, we must know the meaning of failure. We should educate our children about the meaning of failure. Winning or losing has the same effect. When we win or lose, we experience either or cruelty or humbleness. Same lang yan. Cruelty or humbleness or humility. Same lang yan. Nanalo ka, you won, okay? You might have the power. You won, you might become cruel. You won, you might become, humble. You become meek. On the contrary, if you try to take a look at the dichotomous effect, you won, the same. It's either power, cruelty, or even humility. It's the same. So what am I trying to tell you? If you teach Recognition, if you teach achievement to other people, teach them also, okay, to accept defeat. It's a life lesson. It's not being taught at school, but it is a life lesson, okay? So it's not supposed, you're not always there when they have problems. See, so, I see, I saw, I see, I saw. That's the meaning of that see, so. You're not always there, so teach them how to be independent. We also have self-care. It was discussed a while back that of self-care, you have to have your me time. My me time usually is in Davao, okay, People's Park. Every time I'm assigned there, I am at the People's Park feeding the doves, talking to myself. But of course, it's not that. You don't have to talk to, oh, how are you? I'm fine. How about you? Okay, you're doing monologues there. They might say something is wrong with you. Okay, so another one is when I am at home, when I'm alone, okay, just, okay, lie down and just talk to myself. How am I? How am I doing? If there is a situation that happens to me as such as that, what should I do? How will I help myself? Okay, it helps a lot when you have self-care. And we have social support. When we say social support, we have to know, okay, under social support, we have this, okay? Be with your family and friends. Nobody else will be okay with them. And of course, love therapy. Ayan, the one who introduced me a while back, Ma'am Irvina, is one of my closest friends whom we spend time together. We laugh together with Ruby Jane. Okay, we laugh out loud. Why? Because it helps a lot. Okay? The endorphin and the enkephalin is being produced once you laugh. It's the same with that of codeine or the heroin. The same as that. Okay, so from the PUP department, okay, that is when I handled you there in the lower section. Okay, during the youth congress. So how about the other one? Okay, that was in, where was that? Oh, that was in Cavite. Okay, and we have the NNC, National Nutrition Council of Baguio City. Okay, and we also have self-coping skills. Okay, as I said a while back, we have our own self-coping skills. May I just present to you the following self-coping skills by other people, Marlene Alonzo Giab. Okay, thank you so much for these pictures. You see, once you see the different, okay, colors, once you see the different colors, once you go for gardening and the like, okay, it helps you. And we are so lucky here in Baguio City and La Trinidad Benguet because we have Avong Rome, we have the mural, okay, at Stobosa, the Stobosa mural. We also have Burnham Park and other places. Okay, just go there. Anilin Felipe, and there, okay, that is in Balili River. For those who are here right now, you never visited Balili River. Okay, so you can see further how, okay, it improved. That's the sunflower in Balili River. Okay, so I'm just kidding. Okay, that is in other countries. So that is what she do. She hikes, okay, and take pictures. So I said, oh, this is so nice. It helps. May I present it to my audience? And they said, yes, thank you. Okay. We also have Shirley Tipino. Okay, that is in short. Okay, short. In long. Okay. So aside from in long, we also have this taken in Guava City. Guava City, you know, Bayabas, La Trinidad Benguet. Okay, so we have that. Okay, taken by Paulita Faichu. Okay, so that is it. Ayan. Okay, so this is it. And we also have self-realization. So allow me to, is it okay? Okay, do you still have time? Okay, sorry. Self-realization, when we say self-realization, don't end your life with a period. You keep going by using a semicolon. Don't end your life with a period. But as I've said, give support. Okay, give support to other people. If you cannot give support, ask for support. Ask for help. And we also have, we have to use the order of operations. We usually have what we call as problems, but we have to solve it, right? So mathematical operation is very important, okay? It can be used as a living expression, the PEMDAS. When we say PEMDAS, let us assess all our positive and negative thoughts, Feelings and behavior inside the parenthesis and, okay, confront the negative ones. Keep the positive ones. It's the same with what we're doing right now. Whatever I told you, whatever I sent you as a message, if it applies to you, then keep it. But if it doesn't, then remove it from the parenthesis. Another one is put an exponent to all your values and your virtues. Aside from that, multiply. The next one is multiply our innate qualities. Multiply our bliss, love, peace, power. Okay? Purity, prayers, knowledge, and happiness. Divide all our fears, anxieties, depression, as well as our, okay, our what? Stress. And add more. Add more. Addition na ba? Add more. Okay, to our attributes, positive attributes, as well as characteristics. And the last one, subtract the powerlessness, the uselessness, the meaninglessness, and the emptiness in you. My dear participants, you are not alone. Pray for yourself. Pray for the family. Pray for the whole world. We know that we have a strong virus, but we have a stronger and a mightier God for us to pray. Thank you very much, and good day, everyone.